this short video, I make a fresh Pico de Gallo, also known as Salsa Fresca, or just plain old salsa. Trust me, this blows any canned salsa out of the water, and it's really easy to make. So here are the ingredients that I use. Not all of them, of course. Obviously, I don't use an entire large onion, but you get the idea. Of course, the list of ingredients and exact measurements are in the description below. To give myself complete control, I'm going to be using a food processor for this recipe. And to start, I begin dicing up each ingredient to a more manageable size. First, I dice up 2 medium-sized tomatoes. Originally, I was thinking 3, but 2 looks like it's gonna be enough. The ones I used are very ripe and very juicy. If you don't want your salsa to be hella juicy, you have a few options. 1, use a tomato that doesn't have as much guts, like Roma tomatoes. 2, you can use tomatoes that just aren't as ripe, but who wants to use unripe tomatoes? Not me. And lastly, if you don't like how juicy your salsa is, you can always just remove the juice in the end, I guess. Next, 1 jalapeno. If you want a milder product, you can always remove the core and the seeds because that's where all the heat is. But I want a spicy salsa, so I'm gonna throw it all in. Next, juice from half of a lime. I roll my limes like so before I cut them to loosen up all of that juice. I also use a handy little citrus juicer tool. My unsolicited advice is don't just squeeze out the juice with your hands. This only ends up removing like half the juice, and that's a waste. If you don't have a citrus juicer, just use a spoon and get up all in there, like that one lucky prom night. Next, some red onion. You can use any type of onion really. I find red to be slightly sweeter and less potent than a cooking onion. You can even use green onions if you don't want a super oniony pico de gallo, but I like flavor. I ain't afraid of no onion. I use about 1/4 of a large onion. So what's that, like 1/3 of a cup? Sure. Speaking of flavor, next, garlic. Yes, it's gonna have some raw garlic, so make sure it's just a small clove. Obviously, raw garlic is quite strong and can easily overpower, but I personally like to bring my taste buds to war when I eat. Next, fresh cilantro. Always fresh cilantro. If you've ever considered using dried cilantro, then you should probably reconsider life. I usually end up going a little overboard with my cilantro amounts. Why? Because, well, I like it. But the darn stuff goes bad so quickly, I just want to use it up before it goes to waste. Next, a pinch of salt. A few turns of the pepper grinder. And a couple pinches of ground cumin. And I think that's about it. Did we use all the ingredients? I guess so. Perfect. Now I just pulse until I'm happy with my chunk size. And while I do that, I'd like to ask for you to subscribe to my channel and click the bell so you'll be the first to know about all my brand new videos. How's this? I'll give it another quick 4 pulses. How many was that in total? Like 10? So less if you want larger chunks and more if you want smaller chunks. And there you have it. Throw it into a bowl, make yourself some homemade baked corn tortilla chips like me, and you've got yourself a pretty little party. Well, thanks very much for watching, liking, and subscribing. If you enjoyed this video, click here to watch the next one.